So today we are here interviewing James Crawley from JCM Talent Advisors and looking forward to hearing a bit about his business growth and what his plans are for the future.
Hello James.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Very good.
Good. Thanks for coming along today.
Pleasure.
Great to have you here. So we want to talk to start off with a bit about your journey, if we can. Perhaps more of a synopsis, but we know you started back in the Navy.
Many years ago now. Yeah. So started driving submarines for a living. Enjoyed that thoroughly, but decided I had to grow up at some point and get a real job. So ended up falling into the world of executive search as a researcher.
Okay.
So I did that for a number of years, and as that career developed, I realised that clients were relying on me more and more for advice, as opposed to actual individuals or individual searches.
Okay.
So I developed the consultancy side, and then when I launched JCM, I focused the whole business around talent, because we'd learned over the years an awful lot about employers, employer branding, what attracts individuals to employers.
Yeah.
And we were able to then package that up and help companies develop their own employer brands.
Brilliant. It's really interesting. So how long has that journey gone on for? What's that?
20 years to date, and still learning every day.
And still learning. So where does JCM sit now compared to the big business that you grew before?
So we're a very boutique business now, much smaller, but we get a lot more fulfillment out of that, because we work with clients where we can really pull a lever and see an almost immediate change in that business.
Right.
So we really focus on businesses up to say 1,000 people,
Yeah.
where change can be effected very quickly, and we can make a real impact.
So I was going to say, so it's much more about the impact that you can have with that business.
Demonstrable results is what we like to see. So we don't take clients on unless we think we can really move the journey for them along very quickly, and they can see pretty quick results.
Brilliant.
Cool. So to do something for that long, you must enjoy what you do. Tell me a bit about what is the passion that drives you?
I love it. I absolutely love it, because it's dealing with people all day, which is what I love to do. And it's helping them fulfill their aims in life, helping our clients fulfill their goals. So there's a very immediate reward. There's people that I've worked with now for nearly 15, 20 years through various stages of their careers, both as clients, as candidates, or just people that we've advised. And we've seen them grow as individuals, and that's very fulfilling. Obviously, it's financially very rewarding as well. But we like to think of ourselves as long-term greedy. So we will work with someone, even at the very junior stage of their life, but stay with them until they end up starting up their own business, being their own entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Cool. It's really interesting hearing about your journey that you've been on and how your career has sort of developed. And I'm interested to hear, what do you think is going to be next? So what's your big vision? What do you see as sort of coming up next for your business, and where you want to take it ultimately?
I think the challenge is always around changing economic circumstances. But I genuinely feel there's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur, particularly in the UK. There's good funding available, so people can launch a business now much easier than they could a few years ago. So those opportunities really excite me, because I love getting involved in a business at a very early stage. So the number of opportunities, the number of clients that we can work with will increase exponentially. There's a big change in generational attitudes to how to work these days. So whereas before people were much more money motivated, these days people will genuinely make decisions based on their passion for a subject, a company, the company's ethics.
Yeah.
So getting that message across to clients, showing them the science, the evidence to back that up, that's what really gets me out of bed in the morning. And that creates the opportunities for us to grow as an advisory business.
Yeah, interesting.
And do you think that's what's changed? It was actually interesting. Going to be my next question was around what has changed in your industry, and do you think that's one of the big shifts is in terms of what the talent are actually looking for?
Yes, and I think there's a professionalism now in the industry that didn't exist. So you had professional HR departments, but suppliers into, which was predominantly recruitment, let's face it, the entry level to that industry was a telephone and a good story to tell. Now you're getting more and more properly qualified individuals. There's much more development within clients themselves of their own talent management function. So yes, you have HR specialists that look after compensation, benefits, things like that, but you now have HR specialists in businesses that look after culture and employee engagement and communication with employees. So clients are waking up to it, and the employee market, so the people seeking those opportunities, are also waking up to it, and they put as much store in a company's employer brand as they do their consumer brand, their customer brand.
Yeah, interesting. You started to talk a bit about it just then, but I'm interested to hear more about who your ideal clients are currently and who you're kind of looking to reach out to more?
Sure. So it's clients on a journey. Now, hopefully that's a journey of growth as opposed to contraction. It doesn't have to be fast growth, but there needs to be some significant steps that need to be taken to professionalise that business, or put in place some structure, or make that business more exciting to attract the better talent. Because if you rely on money alone to attract talent, you will eventually lose. It's like an arms race. Mm-hmm. It's expensive and ultimately difficult to win, if not impossible to win. So you have to do something that means you don't overpay the market, but you still get the best talent. Yeah. So if you're a computer software development company, you want the same quality of people as Google do. Therefore, you've got to do something significantly different to be attractive.
And is that where you're talking more about, you mentioned earlier about the employer brand?
Exactly that. And that's it wrapped up in everything that we do. So our target client, as I said, up to about 1,000 people. Could be at any stage of their actual journey. They might have been founded 15 years ago, but they're about to go on a journey themselves, and they need to change that journey. And that is where we can have most impact and add most value to their operation.
Yeah. So you've been talking obviously about employer brand. I'm really interested to hear you talk about personal brand, because I think you've put a lot of effort into developing a personal brand for yourself. You're quite active on LinkedIn, you've written a book, you've done lots of video content and sort of sharing your expertise. Yeah. So how do you think that plays part of your marketing strategy?
So I do a lot of the content because I genuinely want to impart as much knowledge as I can. And let's face it, some clients aren't in a position to invest and get my team in and actually do some sort of formal engagements. So if I can give them some nuggets of information that will help them on their journey, that's great for me. And I love the feedback I get from those videos, from the content, from the book and so on. I thought it was very important for my credibility in the market to show that I've got some content behind me, and that's why I wrote the book effectively. And it's easier when we start a conversation with a client. At the early stage of that conversation, I can show them some material, say, look, this is what we're talking about. Does that resonate with you? Because I want to work with clients that
get it.
Get it, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly the word. We've got to work together on a project. Yeah. It's not about me supplying to a project or supplying consultancy. We've both been on the journey. Exactly that.
Collaboration.
Yeah. It is, exactly.
Yeah, cool. Can I just ask another question to follow on from that, which is, so beyond sort of using your expertise and packaging that up as content that you can share and building your personal brand, is there anything else that you found that's worked well in terms of marketing for your business? And anything that hasn't worked well that you felt has been a waste of time or money?
I think things that work well are always what I call fact-based. So case studies, real stories, real input, particularly some of the more scientific studies that we've done. They've been received very well into the marketplace. I think there's general marketing just doesn't work in my marketplace. Sponsoring things like that. There's no specific value add. There's got to be something that connects you to the subject that you're sponsoring, if that makes sense. So sponsoring an evening, a masterclass, something like that works. But just being a branded sponsor at a drinks event, I'm not an estate agent. I don't need that sort of consumer brand. Yeah.
So do less of that kind of ambiguous kind of sponsorship. Have it linked back to your brand, yeah?
And it's exactly the same as when I'm talking about corporate social responsibility and what is real and what isn't. Okay. So sponsoring your local football team is not corporate social responsibility, that's marketing. Okay, but investing in wells in Africa, if you're a bottled water company, that is corporate social responsibility because you're giving back in a relevant side. And I apply the same thing to my own marketing.
I really like it. That's really good. So let's talk about a bit more about the future. What does the future look like for JCM?
So we're trying to remain small but perfectly formed. I'm very keen with this organisation that we work with a very small roster of clients at any one time and give those clients me effectively and my very qualified colleagues. I don't want to dilute that. I don't want to bring on a lot of junior staff, sell a project myself and then all these junior staff turn up on a client. That's not my model of consultancy. So if a client engages with me, they get me supported by my team or one of my subject matter experts. So we're not going to grow exponentially, but we are going to continue to seek out those clients that can really get the most value out of us.
And you can make the biggest impact on.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Great. So we have two more questions, I think.
Yeah, we do.
First of all, what do you think is the most vital quality for business leaders today? What's something really important that people need to be doing? Or
two of
thinking?
these and one of these. Listen to your people, because your people have probably got the answer. Your people are at the front line of your business all the time, and the number of clients I work with, when I first start working with them and identify what the issues might be, they generally start at the top, those issues. And I think people forget sometimes that even the guy packing the boxes on the loading bay might have an amazing solution that can improve productivity by 30% in your business.
Yeah.
So listen, that's the biggest lesson to any business leader and entrepreneur.
Because you don't know where it's going to come from.
Completely.
So you need to be open, always be open to those.
Absolutely, and I can give you a valid example. It wasn't my examples. I saw it on a program recently in a factory. It was a sausage factory, and someone managed to double the packing speed of the line because he invented a flap that literally shifted sausages from one side to the other, so they could have people lined up on both sides of the packing line.
Right.
So simple.
Simple solution from probably the lowest paid employee in the entire organisation.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that swan vest of Matchbox story. Have you heard that one?
No.
I'm going off topic now. But yeah, you know how you got the striking things on the side? Apparently, it might be an urban myth, but somebody who owned that business said, if anyone in the team has a suggestion about how we can either cut costs or increase revenue, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And some lowly person came up and said, I know how we can... What was it? No, they used to have 2 strips and now you have 1.
Yeah.
They were like, we can halve the cost of the production of this box. Just have a strip on one side.
That's a bit like the Colgate story. They improved profitability by opening the hole at 30% on the tube of toothpaste, because you still do a line of toothpaste.
Yeah.
Similar sort of scenario.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our kind of last question is, what advice would you give to other business owners out there? Is there a kind of over your years and having built that really big business, having built a boutique business, what's a nugget for other business owners out there?
There is a wealth of expertise available in your local business community. So whilst there are professionals like myself who obviously you'd need to engage on a permanent basis, there are also all sorts of opportunities to network and learn from other business leaders, people that have been on that journey. There are business masterminds, there are networking events. So you can overdo that, you can spend a lot of time going and meeting the same people all the time, but you should absolutely dip into that, because you'll be surprised at the businesses that you don't even know about that exist just around the corner. And you have no idea of their journey until you get to talk to them. So look for those free sources of advice. It costs some time, but you'll probably avoid making a load of mistakes.
So engaging with other business owners in your area. So it goes back to that listening again. That
it is
quality.
Absolutely that.
And collaboration.
That's it.
Fantastic.
Awesome. So before we finish, if anyone wants to get in touch with you or find out more, what should they do?
Sure. So we've got our company website, of course, which is jcmadvisors.com, and that's got all the group businesses on it, and we publish all of our content on there. If you looked at my LinkedIn profile under James Crawley, you'll see all my articles and posts and blogs there. Feel free to reach out to me, and if we can help, we'd be delighted to.
And your book is on Amazon?
Book is on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback format.
That's Refuel.
That's Refuel Your Employer Brand. And there is the previous version of that, Fuel Your Employer Brand, which is an Audible book, if people like that, which is very heavily geared towards process.
Yeah.
Refuel is more broader in terms of the overall employer brand experience.
Fantastic.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah,
My
thanks for
pleasure.
joining us today, James.
Nice to talk to you.
Cheers.